Hello, everyone. This is Epistemia. It's been a while since I made a video, yeah. And, well, I just wanted to make this one so that I could update you all on what's been going on with me. And just so that you're not kind of, left in the dark about it. I thought I'd give you a little update and also look through this magazine. I've been moving. That's it. That's all that's happening. Nothing big. Just moving to a place that's about an hour and a half away from where I currently am. And as I'm sure most of you know, moving is quite an arduous task. Just having to get all your stuff packed up, put in boxes, and loaded into vehicles. And I've been kind of just slowly taking my stuff to the new place, little bit by little bit, over the last 3 weeks. And this is actually my final moving week. So I'm just trying to get the last bit of stuff, And then, of course, I have to clean so that I can get my deposit back. But I'm actually really excited about moving, even though I will no longer be in the Bay Area, technically speaking, and that makes me very sad because I've lived in the Bay Area for the last 3 years. It's gonna be actually pretty much exactly 3 years ago was when I moved up here. And man, I've learned and grown so much personally in these last 3 years. So I am definitely very sad to go. And I've made lots of friends here too, but I won't be that far away. It's only about an hour actually from where I would hang out with my friends. So it's an hour and a half away from where I am right now, but it's only an hour away from like San Diego, which is where, not San Diego, San Jose, which is where I hang out with most of my friends anyway, in the South Bay. So it's not all that bad, but all of that aside, I actually am pretty excited, like I said, to be moving to a new place and getting a new job. I'm kind of just wrapping things up here. I had my last day at my behavior therapy job. I think it was last week was my last day. I'm kind of, I have mixed feelings about that too. My kiddos, I've talked about them before in other videos, that it's hard not to get attached, Ultimately, I'm just providing a service for them, but, you necessarily connect with your clients. I mean, if you want to build rapport with them and be able to do a good job, you'll connect with your clients and they connect with you, and you find, a common ground with each other. So it's always hard and sad to say goodbye and to part ways. But I definitely feel like I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on to the next phase of my life. And I just want to say, I hope you're not hearing too much noises from other places in my apartment. My downstairs neighbor has, on the note of children, has a child who is about, I think he's a little more than a year now, a little more than a year old, and he seems to have hit the terrible twos a little early. And I say that strictly based off of the sounds that he makes, which I find amusing, because he kind of makes these squawking sounds that they're definitely not words, but just the tone of his voice has a very defiant sound to it. Which is pretty typical, of children that age, or at least children who are around the age of 2. That's usually, when they are kind of testing the boundaries of their environment and of the caretakers in their environment. But this little guy seems to have hit that phase early, because I don't even think he's saying words yet, but man, if you could hear it, the little squawking sounds he makes are just, it's like there's so much that can be communicated through just a tone of voice, It's like I can just hear him saying, "Fuck you, Mom and Dad. You give me what I want, because I'm the center of the universe," As all children at that age think they are the center of the universe, as I've talked about in some of my other videos. But anyway, if you hear any of these defiant squawking sounds, it would probably be the child downstairs. And you would have a better understanding as to why that is. So, another thing that I just wanted to kind of share about myself is that I'm going to be looking for a new job when I finish my move down south. I've decided to kind of swing the pendulum back towards the creative side. So, as I've talked about before, I've been in, behavior therapy for many years, but I also do graphic design part-time. Mostly like freelance. And that's been something I've kind of been doing on and off for, many years. But I'm kind of feeling like I'm at a place now where I really kind of want to just buckle down and focus on that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm kind of in a place now where I think I have a better idea of the type of design work that I want to do. And that being more brand development, like brand identity, if you will, which usually starts with the logo and then working on, websites and collateral out from there. But creating a, basically like marketing campaigns, and working on the design aspect of that. Because mostly what I've been doing is sort of random collateral stuff here and there, stuff I get, working on things that, where there's basically already like a brand identity, already in place. It's already been developed, so I just have to work on, a website or, a brochure or something that is just incorporating that identity that's already been, developed. So, which is good. I mean, I still enjoy that, but I'm really feeling like I want to be able to focus on building brands from the ground up and being able to see those projects, from the beginning and work on them from the beginning. Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of just where I'm at and what I'm trying to move towards in all of these changes. And so I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous too, but mostly excited. But as far as what that means for my channel, I, still intend to make videos. I'm just enjoying a little glass of wine here. But what that means for my channel is I absolutely still intend to continue with the several series that I have going so far, and I know I'm a bit kind of all over the place with my series. I have the Spirit roleplay series, I have the 7 Perspectives philosophy lecture series, I have even the Guess That Tingle game series, that, and I have a lot of other ideas that I want to do too, but I just have like this huge list that I need to get around to actually doing, but will keep making videos, and I appreciate you all hanging around and checking back with me and subscribing and watching the videos I have made. But yeah, I absolutely plan to keep making those videos. It's just gonna take a little time because, you know, as moving is a very involved process, and of course finding a new job, also a very involved process. So it's just gonna take some time, you know. But I appreciate you guys sticking around and being patient, because I really do enjoy making these videos, and I really do have a lot of ideas that I want to make for you. So anyway, I've been flipping through this magazine and chattering away, but let's actually maybe find an article in here that would be interesting. So this is this magazine is called Asterisk. Though this one says the new Asterisk because they just kind of revamped their whole kind of design, their whole look. I've been subscribed to this magazine for a few years now. They kind of look, you know what? This is one of their older magazines, so this is kind of what they used to look like. You know, each issue would come out with like generally a different color. And they would just, you know, change these two little cross lines in the asterisk logo to fit whatever color was being used for that issue. So that's what their old look used to be like. It was more like this. And so this is their new look. And I really like the cutout. This is like a literal cutout design, as you can see. It's pretty cool, right? I have to say though, like I was talking about, you know, being a graphic designer and kind of trying to take my career to the next level. Like I've recognized that I really like simplicity. I really like, I really prefer like more minimalistic approaches to design and art as well. That's just kind of like my personal taste. And, you know, just an example here, this cover design certainly takes a more minimalistic approach, you know, as opposed to like their old layouts here. So yeah, I like it. I'm really digging it. But let's go ahead and see like what articles they have in here. This is, you know, a magazine that's based in San Francisco. And it's kind of just like a lifestyle magazine. Let's see. Kind of just looking to see what catches my eye here. I really like this picture. Though they've chosen not to mark any of their images, with a page number or even like a corresponding title for whatever article it's supposed to go with. I guess we'll just kind of wander through here. I think I saw this image in here somewhere. I wanted to read about it. It was kind of more towards the back, I think. Let's have another sip of wine, yeah. I've not done much drinking sounds in my videos, so I hope my slurping isn't like over the top. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, this is an article. Presidio Parklands Project. Okay, so this must be about Presidio Park, or Park Presidio in San Francisco. I actually used to live really close to Park Presidio, or is it Park Presidio or Presidio Park? Whichever one. I used to live really close to it for a little bit. And when I first moved up to the Bay Area, I was in the city for a little bit, and I used to go jogging through there a lot in my evening jogs. But apparently there is some kind of park project going on with this. I don't know, should I just read it to you guys? I don't know if I really feel like reading right now, but let's see what it says here. Okay. There is a palpable, yet cultured clamoring for attention in the room, much of which is directed at James Corner and Richard Kennedy. The reason for Corner and Kennedy's visit to Presidio National Park, the formal naval base at the foot of the Golden Gate Bridge, is to lead the latest phase of the design process for the new Presidio Parklands project, or, as is known in-house, a new 10-acre dramatic design landscape park promenade in the context of the San Francisco Bay. It's a project that their firm was to select to begin last winter. Their firm was selected to begin last winter. Many of the mostly white to middle upper class aged attendees appeared to be concerned for the integrity of their beloved Presidio, while many just seemed interested in leaving their personal mark on the project. Divergent or incongruent that mark may be, by the way, it is like crazy hot here right now. It's been super hot and like stuffy in the bay, and even down to where I'm moving, which is like I said, an hour and a half south of the Bay Area, and it's actually closer to the coastline. the place I'm moving to is normally a very, like, cool, ocean breezy kind of place, but holy shit, like, it's been so hot the last couple days. Like, just miserable. And the thing about living in the Bay Area or anywhere near the California coast is that a lot of places are not built with air conditioning because the weather rarely gets that hot. But when the weather does get that hot, oh my gosh, it's just miserable because you don't have AC. You like cannot get away from it, except for maybe like going into the pool. Honestly, like, I have these gel packs in the freezer that I'll literally just strap them to like my neck and my head. I'll like stuff them under my shirt because like it's the only way to cool off. It's just so uncomfortable. But it's like, what time is it? It's like, I want to say it's like almost 11 or something right now at night, and it's still pretty stuffy and like warm. But anyway, I just wanted to vent about that for a little bit. So anyway, where did I leave off here? Okay. So, one of the challenges with designing on a project like this, where there's a lot of voices, lots of interests, and lots of fervor, is that you need to capture all of that, but also do it in an integrative way, where it doesn't come across as an ad hoc assemblage of ideas. And that is the design part. Oh my gosh, I did not realize my camera had turned. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm trying to work with my microphone cord here, and it's getting in the way of my reading. So I tucked it in my shirt, but then it like pulled the phone around. So anyway, not that you're like reading it anyway. Alright, so moving on here, let's see. As the 2-hour workshop comes to a close, Kennedy speaks of the view from the Presidio observation post and the eventual view from the new project. He describes the view the same way that a savvy friend would introduce a buddy to an attractive potential mate. Everyone knows that this is the best view in the world. Well, that's just definitely an opinion. The Bay view of San Francisco. The attention to words and meaning from a world-renowned design firm does not go unnoticed, and is certainly not lost on the tireless egos of the local natives. Kennedy brings light to the fact that his team is the one trusted to tackle an incredible challenge, to enhance an experience that is already damn good, as Kennedy puts it. I have to mostly agree with them, though. Presidio has some of the most amazing views. Not the most amazing views in the Bay Area. Some of the most amazing views in the Bay Area. Oh, okay. So now I'm understanding this image within the context of the article here. This is a mock-up image, right? So, was wondering why the lighting looked so strange because they've taken several different images here. So they've taken several different images here. I was wondering why this image looked so just, I don't know, odd. It caught my eye because the lighting, I think it's the lighting mostly actually, now that I think about it. And I'll tell you why. So this is a mock-up image. So basically it's like several different images being photoshopped together. The reason it looked so, I mean, it's an eye-catching image because just the overall view is, beautiful, but what really struck me about it was the lighting, because you have light coming from different angles on different parts of the picture, which looks a little bit odd now that I notice it. But I mean, obviously, if you're just doing a mock-up, you're just kind of working with what you can get. So by no means is this like a criticism, but I just wanted to point out what I noticed. You just have like light coming from different angles, right? So you have this horizon image where the light almost looks like it's coming from directly behind the viewer, almost like a noon light, right, coming down on this horizon here. But then you look at these trees over here with this mist, which almost looks like the light's coming from behind the trees, right? And then you see this guy standing here on this little kind of walkway, this built out walkway here with the railing, and you can see that obviously with his shadow, the light is coming from this angle, this way. So up here, the light's coming from generally above and behind the viewer, so it would be coming in this direction. With the trees, the light's coming this direction, almost like towards the viewer, not quite. And with him, the light's coming from almost like over the viewer's shoulder, or like from the side, like this. And then you have this biker over here, where the lighting is coming from this side, because you can see him and his little pink bag are lit up from the right side, right? And when you look at all of these flowers here in the foreground, which this looks like it was all one image, taken from one image here. This definitely looks like midday lighting, just coming from directly above. And you see all the heavy shadows underneath the flowers. See, so like you look at this bush, the light is very bright on the top part of the bush and the parts that project out, like this one right here, and then the heavy shadows directly underneath it, right, in these areas. So that's how you know the light is coming from directly above. And so that lighting is consistent in this whole area here. So obviously this is like, because they were talking about that they were doing a project to sort of like update or upgrade or refresh Presidio Park. So yeah, this is the mock-up that some of the designers did just to kind of get like a general idea of what they could do what kind of look they might get. But yeah, obviously I just wanted to point out the lighting issues with this collage of images that they tried to synthesize together. It's still, obviously a very impressive image. If they actually design out or change the park to look like this, it's gonna look really good. It's gonna look really amazing. That's what, I wanted to look at this image from the get-go, was because just the concept behind the overall layout was like really interesting. But yeah, so here's another one. Obviously another like mock-up image of what it looks like. This is an image that would be taken from the east side of the Golden Gate Bridge. So we have the Golden Gate Bridge right here, and it's like you're looking west, right? And this would be like a walkway with, I have no idea what this is. This is like a really interesting looking structure that functionally looks like it's supposed to be benches, but the form and the texture and the color, to me, reminds me of like cooled lava. And I don't know if that's what the designer was going for. It would be kind of strange to have like cooled lava looking structures in San Francisco, because that just does not make sense to me. It'd be more appropriate for like Hawaii, obviously, where there actually are a lot like live lava flows that are cooling and making forms like this. But again, I don't know exactly what they were going for with that, but it's interesting. So let's see. Yeah, that's kind of just another mock-up of like what this landscape design firm had as a concept here. Alright, so enough chatter. I can really blab on and on about all this. Yeah, again, I hope the downstairs neighbor isn't like making too much noise. I hear that sassy little 1.5-year-old out there giving his parents some lip about, giving what he wants. I only laugh because, I'm so removed from the situation. I have, all sympathies for the parents, because it is not easy dealing with children at any age, but particularly at that age, they can be very challenging. So anyway, yeah, I only can laugh because I do relate, though, because like I've said before, my clients, are in their age range of like 1 to 2 years old, so I'm very familiar with that attitude. Okay, so let's just continue reading about all of the stuff that I like talked about for like an eternity. Okay. So it says here, Kennedy recalls a meeting his team had with the city of New York after their proposal to turn the 1.5 miles of abandoned elevated train line into a park promenade. And it says, quote, "Are people really gonna just want to come up here and walk? Is there gonna be enough to do?" End quote. Yet, the appeal was the simplicity of the design that made the High Line one of the most popular leisure attractions in Manhattan. And as a response to that question, I just have to say, yes. Yes, are people gonna want to just come out there and walk? Yes, they want to just walk. People gotta walk. People need space. Especially when you're talking about a very urbanized area such as Manhattan. Like, are you kidding me? People need to get out. It is not natural for our species to be so cooped up in cement structures, right? People gotta walk. People gotta get out. They gotta feel the wind. They gotta feel the sun. They gotta smell the plant life. It's healthy. It's just healthy. So yeah, I would have. I mean, is that even a question? Come on. Anyway, moving on. Despite Kennedy's acknowledgement that they certainly don't want to mess it up, there is a sophisticated confidence to the team's presence, a much-deserved confidence that is discernible in his retrospective observation of their work on the High Line in New York City. And then we have a quote here. "It's too successful. Oh, it is too successful. It's too well loved. It is too well used," Kennedy says. And he is quick, however, to attribute that success to the circumstances of New York. You put a great setting, a great place, benches, paths, great planting. You keep the character of what that place had originally. And they love it. They overlove it. Friends of Highline, a nonprofit organization, and the city of New York estimate that in 2009 that their park would host 500,000 visitors during the first year. But by the end of the year, they had seen nearly 1.75 million guests stroll the elevated train line. What did I tell you, right? People gotta walk. What did I tell you? Like, that's no surprise to me. Like, people gotta be in touch with nature. They will take whatever nature they can get, even if it's like designed in nature, right? All right. So the article continues. And in 2013, the number of visitors grew to 4.8 million. When speaking about the gap in the team's expectations versus the reality of the park's use, Kennedy says, quote, "What people love most is the way they see New York." End quote. And he is speaking to, of course, the 30 feet high, snaking urban platform that affords a one-of-a-kind view of Manhattan, the novel perspective that Kennedy believes makes the High Line so amazing is the same reason that nearly guarantees success of this new project for Presidio. Like the High Line, the design that Kennedy plans offers an elevated 360-degree view of the city. Interesting. So now that I think about it, well, it doesn't really show that view though. That's kind of the thing. So it's talking about doing a 360-degree view of the city. If, like, you think of like where Park Presidio is, if you have like the very tip of the peninsula where San Francisco is like in this area, and then Park Presidio is right up here at the very top where the Golden Gate Bridge, right up here at the very top where like the Golden Gate Bridge comes out, like right there. And Park Presidio has a lot of hills, so it's very elevated, like naturally. So it makes sense, yeah, that you can get like a really good 360-degree view of all of San Francisco in this direction, and then like all of the, Pacific or the west side of San Francisco, and then like the Pacific in this direction, and then looking north you would see the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, and you would see Marin County, like the on the other side of the bridge, looking that way. And then of course, looking east, you would see the East Bay, like Berkeley and Oakland, right? So yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, like that they would try and utilize Park Presidio to create that kind of that view. That would be really amazing if they actually pulled that off. Okay, so from this new design plan, one can observe everything from downtown San Francisco to Alcatraz to the Golden Gate Bridge and the enchanting eucalyptus of the Presidio. An outlook that is possible due to the park being perched atop 2 roadway tunnels. So, we have another quote here. People can't quite visualize because they haven't been out on that platform yet, and that's going to be really transformative. So it sounds like they're planning to build a platform on like the more eastern side of Presidio Park. And Park Presidio is like on the very northern tip of San Francisco. So built on the eastern side, then like you look west, you see the park with all the trees, you look east, and you see the bay, you see all of the San Francisco Bay. And on a clear day, you'll see all the way across to where Berkeley and Oakland are. And then when you look south, you'll see San Francisco City with all of its, buildings and its hills. As things wind down at the observation post, James Corner's team gets ready to cab over to San Francisco International Airport. The hectic work schedule that's played out on this Saturday afternoon for Corner and Kennedy is in stark contrast to what appears to be the design paradigm grounded in balance, flexibility, simplicity, and natural systems. Simplicity represents something profound in the design of public space for the Corner team. Because simplicity in this context is diversity. That's actually a very interesting concept because, and I'd like to just elaborate on this idea that, kind of like what I was talking about earlier with simplicity and a minimalistic approach to design, especially in circumstances such as this. And as the article states, you're dealing with a situation where you have a lot of different ideas, a lot of different feelings, a lot of different desires, and a lot of different necessities for what is being asked of for the design. And this is where being able to be minimalistic really is essential. And what you end up designing is basically being able to take all of these different ideas and all of these different needs and all of these different functions and reduce them down to their essentials. So it's, I guess, in a sense, there's being minimalist, and then there's also being reductionist, like where you reduce it down to like, what is it that when these individuals say that they want something to be a certain way, what is it that they're really getting to? What is it they're really getting at, right? And being able to refine it down to that essential point. And then taking this other perspective and this other need and refining it down to its essential point. And so on. So when you have multiple parties involved with what they are needing from a particular project, being able to reduce it down to those single points and then combine those single points into something that functionally integrates them all together, then you'll be able to ideally serve all of those needs and all of those expectations, right? To combine all of those elements together into what ideally would be your end product. So it kind of sounds like that's what this article is getting at here. So that's kind of what it said here, and I'll just reread it because it is basically what I'm talking about here. It says, like, simplicity represents something profound in the design of public space, because simplicity in its context is diversity. One of the points that Kennedy reiterates speaks to the challenge of creating a shared living environment that serves the needs of populations as multifaceted and intricate as those of New York City and San Francisco. Quote, "Not everyone wants the same kind of experience," he explains. Built-in flexibility. When you build in flexibility so that lots of people can do lots of different things, the more detail, the more stuff you put into that place, the more risk there is for those details to not endure. If you aren't able to reduce it down, then you'll end up sort of expending a lot of energy in designing things that are kind of maybe like too specific, that are too niche, too niche, right? That like basically you'll be spending a lot of energy and a lot of resources into things that aren't really getting to the heart of it. So I guess that's basically what they're trying to say here, is that you do have to have that reductionism. You have to have the ability to do that. Otherwise you will be, expending a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of resources in meeting the needs of this very diverse population. What Kennedy speaks to, and what we see with both the High Line and this new project for Presidio, is a comprehension of the universality, human essence, folding back all of the layers of articulation and conditioning. Most of us understand that a smile means happy, and that social space is just great for your life. The High Line is one of the more iconic indicators of a paradigm shift in how public space, and especially urban public space, is imagined, where qualities of the physical space, of the physical place and space, are elevated through the furnishings of perspective, the coaxing of social interaction, and the preservation of a local lifestyle. Quote, "Sometimes the city is the spectacle," says Kennedy, sounding like an artisan who sees immeasurable value in the smells, sounds, and individual moments of the urban experience. The shift has seen natural landscapes converge on the urban form and vice versa, where design is actually guided by the rules of natural systems. As nature is non-linear, dynamic, and consistently evolving with uncertainty over time, so does a well-executed design. Even outside of JCFO's portfolio, the world of urban and social design has seen a gravitation towards projects with built-in resiliency and environmental sustainability. If anything, these shifts in thinking are a beacon of hope for the transformation of urban space, a especially in communities that are traditionally undeserved. A redefinition of quality of life among the impoverished, elderly, handicapped, and youth populations. Walking out of the observation post and onto the surrounding white and yellow striped scarred tar and asphalt, one cannot help but be confronted by the realities of the contemporary urban experience, which in turn strokes a yearning for the completion of this new Presidio project. This perspective further solidifies the necessity of green urban landscapes. What Corner, in his manifesto Terra Fluxus, describes as the source of, quote, both salve and respite from the deleterious effects of urbanization. And that ties right back in with what I was talking about before in regards to, yes, of course, people want to be able to walk in nature, of course. They just want to walk. They just want to experience that open space, especially for urban populations where they are just trapped in like concrete structures for most of their day. Of course, all they want to do is be able to walk in open spaces. It is only natural. Okay. Well, I think I'll wrap it up for this video update. It's been a very long update. I guess maybe I'm, trying to overcompensate for my lack of videos in the last few weeks. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you are relaxed. I hope that in the very least you found it interesting. So anyway, I promise to come out with a continuation of all of the series that I've started on my channel. I know I am a bit scatterbrained, and I know that I'm a bit all over the place in regards to the different series that I've started, but I promise I will follow through with them, as my move is just about finished. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Thanks for staying tuned and checking back with me, and we'll see you next time.